No phone or access to social media. Young mum Drew lived her life in isolation, completely controlled by her partner until her death, allegedly at his hands. It's a story we wish we didn't have to share, but her little sister says warning signs were missed that may have saved her life.
He just made her feel like, you're mine and mine only.
The mother of four was stabbed to death inside the property early yesterday morning.
She was giving us signs, and I wish I'd seen it more. But yeah, I wish I could have done more for her.
We've seen a number of family members visit this property today, laying flowers in memory of Drew.
If he did get the help like he needed that night, she probably would still be alive.
Jade, when you sit back and you remember your sister Drew, what do you see?
Just this loving, caring woman. Every time someone met her, they just loved her. She was just like this, she just lit up the world.
What sort of mother was she?
She's a great mum. She always wanted a family, she always wanted kids, she always wanted to get married.
Drew Douglas was only 17 when she met the man she'd spend the rest of her life with.
I just looked at him and went, he's a nice guy, as long as he takes care of my sister and all that, and it was his first serious boyfriend.
Drew's little sister Jade was only 12 when Sean King arrived on the scene.
I never thought they would be together for as long as they were.
Because Jade says during the 14 years they were together, like most couples, Drew and Sean fought. And when they started a family, things got worse.
They both went into that, the baby blues. And I think it kind of just sparked this little bit of an element where it was just confrontation.
But out of the heated moments, there also came 4 beautiful girls. The eldest, 12. The youngest, just 7 weeks old.
When did you start to notice something wasn't right in their relationship?
It's about 6 years ago. I would ask the girls questions sometimes when I would go visit them. Is everything okay with mum and dad?
Jade believes her sister became trapped in a world of torment and control, which she couldn't escape.
She just started shutting herself down. And that's when I noticed that this isn't my big sister. She just doesn't have a way to communicate. She doesn't have her own phone. She doesn't have anything to, she wasn't even allowed her own phone number. It was a shared phone number. They had to have everything shared. And I think it was so he could just keep an eye on what she was doing and talking to. And he was feared that she might cheat on him or something like that. And every man has that fear. But to kind of just shut her out from the world so she couldn't speak to anyone, I think that's where it was just too far.
It was total control. Jade says Drew also wasn't allowed her own social media.
They got an account, but she wasn't allowed to add any of her friends from high school or the friends that she would speak to.
He was just completely controlling her life.
Practically, yeah. And he made it seem like she was shutting everyone out. There would be times when we tried to call her and the number would be disconnected. Even on Facebook, we would try to text that he would know that we would message, but he just wouldn't tell her. And then she would message us months later, being like, no one wants to talk to me, my family has nothing to do with me. But in a way, we would constantly try to get hold of her.
The family says it was no longer Drew's life. It was his to monitor and his to dictate.
She was trapped.
Yeah, that's what it was. She felt trapped. Sometimes I'd go over there and try to speak to her and she wouldn't speak back. It was like she just couldn't remember. It's like she hadn't slept in days. She just shut herself down.
Christmas 2 years ago was the last time these sisters and the Douglas family were able to be together.
I remember her saying to me, I feel like I can't do this anymore, Jade.
She was just like a shell of a person.
Yeah, I think they kind of made it look like the perfect family as well. They come in matching shirts and stuff, and it was just like they were acting like this happy family. But that's why I took my sister for a walk, and I said to her, I was like, what's going on? You have to tell me the truth. Is there something going on? And she's just like, Jade, it's okay. She goes, I'm doing what I can. She goes, I have to do this for the girls. I have to be strong for the girls.
She was strong. But no amount of strength could ultimately save Drew.
She would have kissed her girls goodnight. You know, the girls would have been going to school the next morning. She would have had a newborn. She wouldn't have never pictured that it would be her last night.
8:40 p.m, August 15. Sean King calls 000, allegedly distressed and asking for help.
The phone call he made to police 10 hours before.
Yeah.
What do you know about that?
Not too much. I know that he was suffering with mental health issues and stuff beforehand. All I know is that he just called for his own welfare. He was just hysterical and just blabbering. He did the right thing. He knew he had to call someone, but it just upsets me that they never followed it up. If you hear someone on the phone saying, look, I need help, at least you could have done, if you couldn't go out there, get an ambulance to go out there.
The next phone call to police, 6:45 a.m. Drew had been stabbed multiple times in the chest inside the family home at St Mary's in Western Sydney.
Like, everyone was asleep.
She would have been so scared.
I couldn't even comprehend what my sister was going through.
45 minutes later, police allege Sean King handed himself in. He was charged with Drew's murder.
I'm not aware of any threat of violence.
Whatever Sean King said in that first phone call is now the centre of a critical incident police investigation. What we do know is whatever he did say, it was categorised as a low priority by the operator, which meant no police were dispatched to see for themselves everything was okay inside that home.
That timeline leading into this morning will certainly be very, very strongly looked at.
They had a lot of history with the police before, because multiple times when they did call up, it'd be like, oh, all right, take a statement, you know, you guys do this, and then leave and never follow it up. So when, you know, that phone call was made, I think they kind of just thought, they've got a history, they'll sort it out. If I didn't have my girls, I wouldn't have anyone.
What if? Now a question that will forever haunt two shattered families.
If police came around that night, do you think it would have made a difference?
Oh, definitely. You know, I know the world's crazy out there, but you hear that type of phone call and you think to yourself, someone's going to get hurt, we better go check it out. And they never did. And in the end, it was just too late.
We expect them to answer our calls for help. But for police, these domestic emergency calls are happening way too often. Jade says her sister was let down by the system.
The girls would still have their mum and dad with them today. And unfortunately, they've just lost both parents now.
To be her voice right now, what do you think she'd want to say?
You know, there is help, and it's not too late. Don't be scared. Just do it. Because tomorrow, you don't know if tomorrow might come. Next day, you don't know what's going to happen. Because my sister didn't wake up that morning thinking that she wouldn't be alive by the end of the day.
It happens far too often, doesn't it? And 4 little kids left to grow up with no mum. If you or someone you know is experiencing sexual abuse or family violence, there is help. Call 1-800-RESPECT. That's 1-800-737-732.